Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and this is going to be a two birds with one stone sort of video. This is going to be a contest entry from my very good friend Marc of Horror. He wanted us to talk passionately about a movie that we really like, and it's also going to be a kind of re-entry into something I did when I first started my channel. It's called My Horror Story, and it kind of explains why I like certain movies so much and how I got introduced to them. Of course, this is an idea I went over with Joe about a month or two after I first started my channel. And Maniac was my first video, and The Last Shark, or Great White, was my second video. And they're movies that have kind of a history with me and that mean something. So I figured this was as good an opportunity as any to get back into My Horror Story. And this is going to be for Friday the 13th, Part 2. Now, I have so many copies of this movie. It's unreal. I have it in sets, Blu-ray. The only thing I'm missing is VHS for this, I think, and the tin. But the tin is stupid. Crazy, stupid money they want for the tin. So, I'll have to stick with what I got. Anyway, this I just picked up recently, actually. This is the original Paramount release on the DVD. And this film means a lot to me. And the reason being is because it's the second movie that I saw, the second horror movie that I saw. The first being Happy Birthday to Me, depending on whether you consider Godzilla a horror movie or not. I do, but most people don't. So, now the first movie I ever saw, my first introduction into the horror scene was of course Happy Birthday to Me. And I'll probably do a My Horror Story on that someday. But right now, I wanted to talk about Friday the 13th Part 2, which was actually my second horror movie that I saw. Much like Happy Birthday to Me, I actually slept over the same kid's house. I believe we were in the 5th or 6th grade. I can't remember. I think it was the 5th. Yeah. We went to the same video store that we rented Happy Birthday to Me, and he rented Friday the 13th Part 2. Because he was having a pool party and a sleepover. Now, this was a co-ed pool party, but of course the sleepover was, of course, just guys, you know how parents are. So, before the girls went home, and kind of before we watched this movie to kind of get us kind of revved up and in the mood for some horror, we played a game called Flashlight Tag. Now called Maniac or Killer or whatever it's called. And that's basically where you run around in the woods with a flashlight. And if you're not it, you have to run away from the person who's it. And if they find you, they have to catch you before you're it. So, yeah. And this kid had a huge backyard, plenty of places to hide. His parents had money, so. Anyway, after the game of flashlight tag, we went inside and we watched Friday the 13th Part 2. Now, as I said before, I had already seen Happy Birthday to Me. Wasn't really sure what I was in for with this because I had never seen the first one. But obviously it had a different effect on me than it had on a majority of the other kids. Since half of them didn't really even watch it anyway, they were getting snacks in the kitchen or kind of talking to each other, goofing off, throwing stuff around. You know how kids are. Me? I pretty much stayed absolutely still and watched this movie. And, yeah, absolutely loved it. Now, that's not the only reason why I like Friday the 13th Part 2 more than, say, Part 3 when he gets his hockey mask. But this has my favorite girl, favorite final girl, Jenny. I always thought she was very real. She wasn't, like, too pretty, but she was pretty enough. And she fought back, which some of them do, but it seemed like she fought back a little bit more than a lot of the rest of them. And actually, the part that really impressed me the most, and it's going to sound kind of weird, when she was hiding underneath the bed from Jason, and of course he came in and was standing up on the chair waiting for her, and the mouse came, she peed herself. And of course it ran from underneath the bed, and that's kind of how he knew where she was. I just thought that was so real because, I mean, come on, let's be honest here. With Jason chasing you, I'm sure most of us would probably piss ourselves too. So, but yeah, this has always been one of my favorite horror movies, one of my favorite slashers. I think it is done perfectly, except for, of course, Paul. We don't really know what happened to him. Maybe aliens came down and abducted him. Who knows? But I do love this movie. It's fantastic. And this is not only my comic or my horror story. This is my entry for Marc of Horror. I'm going to put his links below. Definitely check him out. I believe he just hit 100 subscribers, if I'm not mistaken. Fantastic guy. Very kind. Knows a lot about horror. Love his videos. And yeah, definitely check him out. So glad to be bringing this back. Maybe I'll do some more of them in November or December, but I always like these kind of videos. It just gives a background into why we like what we like. So, but if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.